Welcome to week 2, the first day of our 21-day Mindfulness Dialogue Immersion Program. Last week we focused on connecting, which is stage 1 of a mindfulness dialogue process. The other 2 stages are exploring and connecting. This week we're going to focus on exploring, but I want to begin by offering what I'm calling a bridge into exploration. However, to help foster the immersion process, we'll begin by connecting to the present moment, to ourselves and to the world we live in, with a short mindfulness meditation. So position yourself comfortably, relaxed but alert, back straight, hands in your lap, eyes closed or softened to help you go within. Take 3 deep breaths, in through your nose and out through your mouth slowly. Then breathe normally. Try to let go of all thoughts by paying attention to your breath as you breathe in and out deliberately. In your mind, softly say the theme of today, a bridge into exploration. Kind of a mantra. Now continue to deepen your connection to this moment by following your breath and letting go of all the thoughts that float by your mind, all the things that you have to do. When you find yourself distracted like this, simply return to your breath and the theme of today. Hold that for a few moments. Find that rhythm of following your breath in and out. Now gently return to the present moment, and when you're ready, open your eyes. Just for a moment, feel that connection, the presence to the world around you, the presence to yourself. So let me open up the reflection with a piece by Rumi that I believe reflects the heart of mindfulness dialogue. Out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right-doing, there is a field. I'll meet you there. Out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right-doing, there is a field. I'll meet you there. When the soul lies down in that grass, the world is too full to talk about. Ideas, language, even the phrase each other doesn't make any sense. Mindfulness dialogue, I believe, is a method for building a new society that is founded on the real world, out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right-doing. A world that we once knew and always intuited, certainly in the earlier stages of our development, both personal as individuals and as a species. Connecting is about cultivating the experience of the real world and establishing this as the foundation for a new understanding about who we are and how to live together. This new understanding begins with exploring. The focus of our exploring is the challenges of everyday living, but the perspective is the real world we are attempting to reconnect with. I say reconnect because we have been living in an illusory world for a long time and have internalized its assumptions. This illusion has developed with our growing capacity to understand and control in a limited way, but it is an illusion that is beginning to show cracks as the institutions it has created become increasingly dysfunctional in the face of unprecedented challenges, from climate disruption to new viruses, and from heightened anxiety to violence of every kind. The chaos that now passes for government in so many countries and leadership reflects the breakdown of this illusory world. In this second week of our program, we want to learn how to explore things from the perspective of the real world, but with the awareness that we are still prisoners of the illusory world. That means we will continue to cultivate our connection with the real world, while at the same time we bring skills to help us break out of the assumptions of this illusory world, the glass bottle of our ego, as a poet called it. In terms of the continuing cultivation of connection, we need to practice in the ways we've learned in the past week. But we also need to look for ways that will help us tune in, as it were, to this place at the beginning of every interaction. We can do this formally and informally. What I mean is, at the beginning of a formal mindfulness dialogue, we will do a short mindfulness meditation and begin our interaction from this place, inviting each other to share a little from that place as a way of affirming the connection and establishing the spirit of the process. In interactions that are not formal mindfulness dialogues, we can still connect in an interaction, a conversation, a meeting, by inviting each other to share from a deeper place with a simple check-in. The more open and vulnerable we are in this sharing, the more likely that the connection will be deeper. Of course, we can't force anyone to share like this, but we can do so ourselves by being as vulnerable as possible. Vulnerability, which we will explore later, is actually a powerful tool that, when used skillfully, can engage others at a deeper level and create this connection. The main point is that it is always essential to connect in order for a mindfulness dialogue to occur. When we have done so, we can step into the stage of exploring. But for this, we need a bridge. And what I mean is, we need a way to establish the perspective of the real world as the foundation of our exploring. We can do this by using the many ways that we have found to express this real world: sacred scriptures, poetry, music, etc. The prophets, artists, wisdom keepers of the ages have served what I would describe as a shamanic role. The shaman is someone who plumbs the depths of a moment, an event, a personal experience, to the place where she touches common ground. There she finds a word, an image, a piece of music that reflects this common ground, what Rumi describes as the field, and she brings that back to the surface, as it were. And when we hear that note, or see that image, or listen to those words, we recognize them as our own. We say yes. So our bridge from the real world we have connected with to the place where we will explore the things of our lives is such a poem, music, or image. It serves as a catalyst for our exploration. Clearly, there is so much to draw from for this piece of the process. With experience, we will be able to find just the right poem or piece of music or scripture for the moment, for the issue we are addressing. But that takes experience, I suppose. The way we use the catalyst is we invite each other to listen deeply as one of us reads or plays. We give a few moments for the catalyst to impact, and then we begin to share. The exploration continues until we feel the need, perhaps, to read or play it again. In this way, we continue in what I have described as a contemplative exploration. I say this to distinguish the interaction from a critique mode, which would be fine for a different setting. Here we want to allow the catalyst to inspire our sharing. So we invite each other to respond to a word or a line as it touches us. This is the heart of the stage of exploring. As we proceed this week, we'll see that there are skills and tools that can help us do this exploration more and more deeply in order to realize the goal of mutual understanding. This is not the same thing as agreement. In fact, we can understand another person without at all agreeing with their viewpoint. We will also discover this week that it is fine to disagree. In fact, in order for creativity and the generation of new and deeper meaning to happen, disagreement is essential, for it is out of the tension created by differences that new meaning emerges. Rilke describes the process beautifully. I am the rest between two notes that are somehow always in discord, because death's note wants to climb over. And in the dark interval, reconciled, they stay there trembling, and the song goes on. Beautiful. The rest between two notes. So let's get a taste of the exploring stage in this way. Position yourself comfortably as before. You're now getting familiar with this. 3 deep breaths to begin the process. Let go of all thoughts by paying attention to your breath. In and out. Now listen to the poem again as I read it. Out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field. I'll meet you there. When the soul lies down in that grass, the world is too full to talk about. Ideas, language, even the phrase each other doesn't make any sense. Allow the words to wash over you and settle into you. Listen for a word that stands out or touches you. In your mind, say the word and what it stirs. Continue like this for just a moment or two. Out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right doing. Now gently return to the present, and when you are ready, open your eyes. This is what we do in the exploring stage of a mindfulness dialogue. The catalyst will lead, of course, into further ideas about everyday life. Ideally, it will lead into exploration of a relevant issue. My experience over a number of years now is that either way, it will be relevant. So some suggestions for application. For the rest of this week, we will add skills and tools that will help deepen this exploration. These will have to be practiced, of course, in order to begin to inform the interaction. But for today, let me suggest that we can begin our work on the exploring stage by practicing the process above. With this or any poem or piece of writing or music, simply listen, notice a word, a note, and what it stirs in you. You can certainly decide to set aside a few minutes for this, but I think you'll find that simply because we have adverted to this practice, you will notice things that serve the purpose spontaneously. A phrase in a book, a commercial on TV, something shared on Facebook. It will also perhaps inspire a thought at the end of the day when and if you journal. So a final thought is this. It may be clear to you already that what we are doing here offers two things, among others, I'm sure. One is an emerging model of mindfulness dialogue that can be used in all kinds of settings, from a simple, deeper conversation. I facilitate a number of such conversations regularly, to a leadership group, ditto on my role, to a think tank kind of gathering in an organization or community that I call a heart core. The other is simply a method for living in a mindfulness dialogue way, with deeper connection, richer exploration, and more creative discovery. I hope the ideas and practices are beginning to touch at either or both levels in your personal and professional lives. So, as I said, Bannacht Aran La Shah. Blessings on this day.